the last 8 years, the run is not done. The Golden State Warriors, once again, are NBA champions in 2022.
Is the Warriors Dynasty over?
Hell yeah, it's over, Molly. Hell yeah.
It's obviously over. They had an unbelievable opportunity via the Wiseman pick at number 2, totally squandered. Kuminga and Moody not getting what they would hoped. They thought they had stumbled upon a diamond in the rough in Jordan Poole, and now that diamond is actually the worst contract in the NBA.
Klay Thompson is a shadow on both ends of what he was 4 years ago, pre-injuries. There's two things that end a dynasty: ego and age. They don't have a ton of ego. Age is a factor.
All right, before I start, so I'm not annoying, let me get my Laker fan side out of me real quick. 3-1 comeback, right? What happened to that? They said Game 6 Klay, right? Jordan Poole's the next splash, bro, right? What happened to that? What happened to your corgi, bro? They were relying on a corgi by Game 4. Relying on a corgi. All right. That's not what this video is about. All right. I got it out of my system. That's not what this video is about. This video is about, was that the nail in the coffin of the Warriors franchise as a dynasty as we know it? Personally, I would love that. For it to come at the hands of my Lakers and LeBron James, I would love that personally. That would just be poetic. But even in my non-Laker biased, logical side of my brain, I do think there's a good chance that this is the end. But I know people have said that in the past and been wrong, but just let me explain. Can we be confident that it's over? No, Steph is still there. He's still a top 5, top 10 player in the league. So they're never going to be completely awful so long as he's there. And he's under contract for the next 3 years. Moreover, though, to me, I think Steph is probably a lifer in Golden State. The others, though, might be up in the air. Because obviously the regular season was not the fluke that Warriors fans were hoping it would be. Game 6 was really a microcosm of this Warriors season as a whole. Curry was doing as much as he possibly could all series long, but if he isn't Superman on offense hitting 10 threes a game, someone else on the team has to step up, and nobody seems capable of doing so outside the confines of San Francisco. Losing 30 games on the road in a regular season isn't a fluke, it's an obvious problem. We just thought it would get fixed in the postseason because they're the Warriors, right? Steve Kerr and the boys will figure it out, but that wasn't the case. They couldn't win a game in LA, and that was that. They shot incredibly poorly as a team in Staples and could not stop the Lakers on offense. One of the more concerning things that I would be worried about if I was a Warriors fan is that outside Poole disappearing after Game 1, pretty much everybody else on the team played exactly how you would have expected. Steph was Steph, Klay was lethal from 3 in half the games, Dre was annoying and played good defense, Wiggins had his games, and Looney was a monster on the boards. This is the reason why it feels like even more of a death of a dynasty than when KD left, or when Curry and Klay got hurt and they went 15-50. Or even when they lost in the play-in a few years ago. It wasn't the roster falling apart or injuries that ruined their promise. This team just wasn't good enough. And that's the first time in a decade that we can truly say that about a fully healthy Warriors squad. They have serious problems that can't be solved by bringing back the same team next season. But they're already the second most expensive team in the league, and cap relief isn't coming soon because they bump up to the most expensive next season at $211 million, $70 million over the luxury tax. Dre and Klay, both 33 years old, are signed to pretty big deals through next season. Wiggins got a sizable deal, and Poole is about to start his 4-year, $128 million contract next season. I'm sure Warriors fans are real excited about that one after this series. Golden State's owners are smart, so I'm sure they'll find a way to retool the team, but they don't have a lot of room to add pieces and have so many players under contract that it's going to have to be through trades, not through free agency. So no matter what, if Golden State's going to be competing for a title next season, the identity of the team is going to look completely different. Because let's be honest, this isn't a big three anymore. It's Curry and Co. And the Co gets smaller every year. I know it's going to be hard for some of y'all to hear, and some people might disagree with me, and I might be wrong. But the Curry, Thompson, Green, Warriors dynasty as we know it is over. They'll still be competitive so long as they have Steph, but they might have to pool some of their assets together to get some better fitting pieces. But for a team that has dominated the NBA playoffs for the better part of the last 10 years, breaking up what's worked so well together in the past might be too much for the organization to stomach. So they may very well fade into aging mediocrity like most dynasties of the past. Let's say they do. Next season, they bring back the same core and say, you know what? We can figure it out. We won a championship in 2022. We can figure it out. They're again like a 6-7 seed with, getting one max playoff series win. If Poole doesn't take another step towards being worth that giant contract and Clay and Drake continue to regress, that's all the less leverage they're going to have in trade talks. So if they want to continue being a championship contender, they have to make big moves this offseason. They can't afford to wait. There might be nothing there for them though. Nothing significant enough to build them back up to what they once were. One day that's going to come. One day they're going to fade back into the ether. And when we look back in 10, 20 years, we might see that day was today. So let's just say, hypothetically, the Lakers did close the book on this Warriors story. Who's the next dynasty? I know a lot of fans have been enjoying the parity around the league the last few years. 4 different champions in the last 4 years, 7 different teams in the finals over those 4. A lot of that has been due to the collapse of this Warriors dynasty. But just like in real life, in real countries and kingdoms throughout history, when one dynasty falls, a new one isn't too far behind. When the Lakers and Celtics dual dynasties in the 80s finally fell, it looked as though the new one would be the bad boy Pistons before Michael Jordan's Bulls horde ravaged the league for 8 years straight. Right after Jordan retired for a second time, we saw the start of the Spurs dynasty get interrupted by the dominant Shaq and Kobe dynasty, which would fall sooner than expected, opening the door right back up for the Spurs to take over. After that, there was a 6-year struggle for power where the Celtics tried to make their claim, Kobe tried to reclaim the throne, LeBron headed to South Beach, and the old Spurs even awoke from the ashes. But no one managed to fully claim power until the Warriors came along and put the strongest grip on the league that we've seen since the Celtics in the 60s. And look, we may stay in this power vacuum for a few more years. And trust me, I enjoy it. My memories of falling in love with the NBA were those 2 Laker titles during that 6-year stretch of no dynasties. But all those dynasties before the Warriors were built in a time of low player mobility. You think with how often NBA players jump ship now, how low loyalty is from player to team and from team to player, you think a new dynasty isn't going to come along to take their place? Don't be gullible. Come on, of course one is. It's just a matter of time. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe it's whatever team that gets to draft Wembanyama this year. Maybe it's a team that already has a good young core. Maybe it's a team that's still alive in this year's playoffs that uses this title to jumpstart their dynasty. I do have a few good ideas though about who might be the NBA's next great dynasty. But I think I'll save those for my next video, which should be hopefully coming out soon. And at the end of that video, I will give my definitive answer on who I think will be the next dynasty. So make sure to hit that subscribe button to see the video as soon as it's uploaded. Don't rely on the algorithm to bring you back. I am a small channel. I might get buried. And plus, you'd be really helping me out. Leave a like and comment if you really want to help a man out. And until the next video, I'll see you later.